my goodness. I haven't done a reading in so long, but the energy. This won't be a channel in the way that maybe I have done other readings, because this is like, these will be used more as a tool. Like, I have messages already written down, and I know that they're gonna flow the more that I continue to talk. I got my little spray bottle because my cats, they're not gonna get me today. So, there's, the energy is so potent. I'm it's like, I woke up at 6 o'clock this morning, okay? I don't really wake up that early. The earliest I probably wake up is 7, but the last few nights, I haven't been sleeping well, and I've been waking up early, you know, like it's like waking up every so often, or just like waking up early. But I know that when I'm supposed to stay up, I do, and I get what I need. I watch a lot of tarot as I do tarot. It's like probably one of my favorite things at this point. And I had to accept over time that sometimes I don't need the messages. Sometimes I want the messages. Like, it's to a point where when they say take what resonates and leave the rest, and how I say in my videos too, it's like they label tarot as entertainment on YouTube, and I'm sure that's for legal purposes, because God forbid you tell somebody to do something and they follow your advice and then they get themselves into some legal trouble, right? But I say all that to say it's okay for it to also just be for entertainment purposes. I enjoy it. It's my therapy. It's very therapeutic for me. But for the next person, and sometimes for me, I just like to hear someone walk through things with me. Like, that's like going to a tarot reader or a psychic or a palm reader or something. They're not going to have everything 100% accurate because they're not you. Oh, okay. So I have a video coming in the future that is about 7 things I wish I knew. I don't think it was I wish I knew sooner, but just 7 things I've learned before the age of 30. It's going to be something along those lines. But one of the things on there I just kind of touched on. Girl, just know that a video is coming. I can't give you too much, because then what's the point of posting it if I'm gonna give it to you now? But I have all these things written down. One of the messages I want to put out there is, you're not running out of time. Okay. You're not running out of time. You're right where you're supposed to be. Actually, time is on your side. You may feel like everything is time crunch energy, do this and that and this and that and this and that, but you're exactly where you want to be. You have to know that you're a co-creator. A co-creator. Like when you're in a co-parent situation, it's not just one parent taking all the responsibilities. It's not just the other parent taking all the responsibilities. It is a co-parent, cohesive, copacetic, hopefully, situation. So that is how the universe works too. You can't just rely on God, rely on the universe, rely on your ancestors. You can't just rely on them. You can lean on them because that's what they want, but leaning and relying is 2 very different things. So you have to do the work for the things that you want. Also, your world changes as your mind changes, as you change, as you evolve as a person. Your wants change. So if you could rely 100% on your ancestors and the universe and everything and God, it wouldn't even work out in your favor, because you're constantly evolving and changing. So for this to be a cohesive situation, a co-creation, you have to understand that the work is in your hands. So what are you going to do about that? It's very easy to, I wanted to say become stagnant, but that's not right. It's very easy to look at the negative side of things. And I'm going to leave that there. I know that there are hella tower moments. Okay, I'm seeing like a bunch of just... One thing about a tower is that everybody wants to look at it in a negative aspect of everything falls apart. But really, that's not the point of the tower. The point of the tower is to check your foundations and make sure that your foundations are strong. And I need to preach how important that is, because I know that in the last month or two, every person in this collective or in the collective has went through a tower moment. This, I've heard other tarot readers talk about it too. This was a judgment period. Everybody I spoke to, everybody I know has went through a tower moment. And that means it's a very powerful time. Also, if things are falling apart, if you choose to look at the negative, which I would hope that's not what you're doing, but you got to know that this is a time, if your foundations weren't strong, stuff is gonna crumble. So it's like kind of like, make sure your stuff, stay ready so you don't got to get ready energy. Okay, you need to make sure that your foundation is strong for relationships. You need to make sure that y'all have a friendship or know each other before you can. And you know, love at first sight exists. And also, this is all grain of salt energy. Like I said, this is entertainment. Okay, I'm here to walk with you on your journey to make sure that you feel seen and heard in a space while I can feel heard, because I clearly can't see you. But, you know, I know that what I go through can help someone. And when I do this, I speak on life experience in hopes that I can walk you through your life experience. So, yeah. Make sure your foundations are strong. And if they're not, work on that. How can I... So the friendship, or, you know, I said like in a relationship, it can be the friendship that you need to make sure you build. If it's not, it needs to be your self-love that you need to build, because if you don't love yourself, how do you expect anyone else to love you? I used to get that quote really messed up. Look it up. It's not, if you don't love yourself, how do you, wait, I'm sorry. I just said the wrong version of the quote. Can you imagine? It's not, it's not, if you can't love yourself, how do you expect anyone else to love you? It's, if you can't love yourself, how do you expect to love anyone else? And you can, the quote is missaid all the time, because it's kind of like, anyone can love you. Anyone can love you. You're a lovable person. But how do you expect to show someone potent, realistic, like cohesive, you know, like real love, and you don't even really love yourself? Did y'all hear that? Tower moments. Showing you, look, something just fell. Stuff like that happens all the time. Moments. Okay. I just need y'all to know that nothing is... Look, I haven't even started pulling cards. I knew it was going to... That's what I'm saying. These have to be more of a tool at this point, because I don't... It's not that I don't need them, but I don't need them. Look, about to downplay it. I don't need them. But things are falling apart so that you can work on the root of whatever the universe, God, ancestors, spirit guides want you to work on. Some people will have to do more rebuilding than others. Some people will have more time, as in like their tower won't be just fall to the root. Some people will just crumble little by little. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I know everyone's going through their own tower moment, but it just doesn't look the same for everybody. But it's also giving self-starter energy. So a lot of people know they're great, and they don't really know what to do with that, because there's so many things to do in this world, and it's actually overwhelming. But when you go to the root and you realize, I love to do art, I love to do design, I love to do tarot, I love to cook, I love, you know what I'm saying? When you go towards what you love, those endless array of options kind of go away. They kind of water down to this base of the things you love. So it's kind of like, how can I incorporate those things into my day-to-day life? Over time, you realize it's a passion. And over time, you realize you can monetize off that passion. Or you realize it's a passion and that's just something that you enjoy doing. Life is just, as short as we like to say it is, life is long. I don't know where we got that whole life is some people's life is short. That's very true. And that is what it is. But average people live good 70 years. That's not, a year is a long time. So a day when you at work and you count down the minutes, that's a long time. You know what I'm saying? So, oh, and that could be another good benchmark. When time feels like it's flying. You know, time flies when you're having fun, right? Imagine you sat in that fun and you gravitated towards things that make life feel fun. Life would always be flying by at that point, right? But it would be your baseline because you're always chasing that. So that would just be your timeline. So imagine 70 years of life being fun. Did it fly? No, because it's still 70 years. It's still long. So it's kind of like, you know, life is short. How would you, I'm sorry, I don't, life is not short, but for the purpose of that being a quote, life is short, how would you want to spend that allotted amount of time? You know? So that's why I brought up the self-starter energy. Some people are going to have to self-start. Maybe you had a team of people at one point. Maybe you had a big friend group. Maybe you had a very strong support system. And now you're realizing, I got to do this myself because I don't even trust nobody else because I know that my judgment surpasses all in the things that I want to do. So it's kind of like, I have to do it myself, you know? And maybe I can only rely on the unseen in this co-creation. It's big on co-creation, I'm telling you, because I can't rely on physicality anymore, right? That doesn't work. That's why everything fell apart. So it's kind of like I can rely on the unseen and myself, me being the physicality of it all. And then I can attract based on that. I don't have to go seek, right? Law of attraction. And what you might find by doing that is that it's better than the first time because it's exactly what you wanted. And it may take longer. But, you know, going through that tower moment really showed you that it was gone in a second. Or, you know what I'm saying? So some of y'all may have had investments fall through. That's been a big energy. Some of y'all are being reckless with your money. Actually, a lot of y'all are being reckless with your money and with your time. So I know I mentioned life being short and that whole thing, right? Not everything that you love is good for you. So you're that feeling that when I said chase the fun, I'm talking be smart about that. And not everything that's fun is good for you. Not everything that feels good is good for you. So you have to really be discerning at this time too because of things like that. If you're on a journey of healing, you move different. You show up different in the world. People see that. It's very easy to see. When you're out here reckless and immature and impulsive, people see that too. And I think that's when towers crumble quick because I think the universe gives you an allotted amount of time, maybe your whole life, maybe that's it, you know what I'm saying? Gives you an allotted amount of time and you keep making, I don't want to say the same mistakes, but you just keep going in the same direction. Say this, I don't know if y'all can, okay, yeah. It's like a box right here. It's like, say you keep on keeping on, keeping on, keeping on, keeping on, restart, keep on, keep on, keep on, keep on, restart, right? And then say a tower gets put right here. So that when you keep on keeping on, you can't go back. You got to pivot. So you got to go this way now. By choice, not by choice. It's mostly by choice, because at that point you're like, oh, I can't go that way. Whew, there's so many messages. Because some of y'all, you didn't even want to keep going down that path, but you did it because you had to, right? Other people rely on you, right? So you have to keep doing that. And for others, you just that was your impulsivity, that was your compulsion, that was you just doing what you want to do instead of doing what you know you need to do. And neither are wrong either. Like I said, we have an allotted amount of time, so this y'all life. You can do whatever you want. Free will does exist. There are, there are obstacles for everyone, even when you're doing stuff right. Life is never going to be perfect, because life is not perfect. That's not how life works, and thank goodness, right? Ooh, and this is one too. You didn't, and I think this is a perfect time for that. You didn't fail, you expanded. The universe has a way of humbling you. You are worth more, so more had to be done or shown to you. So say you have this amount of, like, your capacity for things is this much, right? Just pain, just because I think emotions kind of have to be like a circle. So say I can only take this much pain, this much joy, this much, this much, this much. Like, this is the amount, because I might get too excited, I might lose my mind. I might get too mad and I crash out. I might get too sad and I'm depressed and can't get out of bed, right? This is my threshold. And it's different for everybody. God gives his hardest lessons to his strongest soldiers, something like that. People have different thresholds. That's another thing that makes us different and imperfect. Not everybody can handle the same things. So once you go through something, though, you got to know that opens up your threshold. You can choose to move differently based on your threshold too. So say you got your threshold opened up, right? Now you can handle this much, but now you're mad at the world. Now you're angry and self-loathing, and you're like, woe is me, right? And then you take that path. Now look, there was a tower that happened and you had to pivot, right? So that's the path. You self-loathe, you self-destruct, you self-sabotage. That's the path you took. Or there's a tower and you can go this way. You heal. You're happy. Your capacity for joy has actually gotten more because you've seen what the other side looks like. You know what I mean? You know what it's like to be poor, so you're excited about being rich. You know what I'm saying? Or it causes you to be humble. So those are the directions. Or you can keep going straight. Now, if it's a tower right here, just imagine how hard it is to keep going straight. If that's the one you choose, the hardest path, that's saying a lot about you and your character. Anyway, I woke up and decided to film this message because I've been playing with filming, because I've been also going through a lot. So I'm okay with the way that I've been showing up. But I have another channel on here that I'm gonna wait for, because I'm gonna let the cards, tool, let them know if I need to elaborate on that, or just help me find the words, because I've been, this channel, I think I've known since childhood. Oh. Shut up. You shut up. Okay, so this channel I've known since childhood. And it's just something I always thought about. I don't even know if TV still do this, but yeah, Anchor. Trust, abundance, ordinariness. Some of y'all will try to resist the tower as well, or have tried to resist the tower, as in it was falling and you trying to, you know, hold it up. And that's not going to work, because you got to know, if it's falling, there's a reason, you know? If the bridge is crumbling, you might as well burn that bitch. You know what I'm saying? Because then you're ahead of the curve. This wasn't sustainable, because the tower would have never happened, right? So something has to be different so that you can get here. Abundance, right? Some people, for some of you, the tower was crumbling. You jumped out and you realized you could fly. You know? This is actually right side up like this. But some of you realized you could fly. You realized you had a parachute. You realized you were equipped. You know what I mean? And that goes with that threshold situation too. Like, you realized how much healing you had already done. So when the tower occurred, it wasn't even a big deal. You know what I mean? You were like, huh, I saw that. Some of y'all are more intuitive than you give yourself credit for. Nobody really talks about what intuition looks like or how it feels, but it's just like this sense of knowing, right? And it's not always in your stomach. Sometimes it's in your chest. Sometimes it's literally it's your thoughts. Sometimes you knew better, and you know, or you heard that little voice, or it's just intuition, like. Or sometimes it's outside of you, but when you heard it, you knew, like through a person, through when that thing fell. That's intuition. Stuff like that happens, but sometimes it's there for you to interpret, because we live on a universe, and the universe helps you out, and the universe is alive, and the universe, when you do certain things, you know what I'm saying, you realize how trippy stuff is, right? And how things breathe and things move. Everything is alive. So it's kind of like, knowing that, you would think that when things just happen, and it don't got to be a big deal, but when things happen, there's a purpose. So when you start using your intuition instead of just allowing it to happen to you, you get cues, and you pick up on cues. And that's why when you watch tarot videos, if you watch tarot videos, clearly you're here right now, you see, like, they'll be like, ooh, 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 like, just because they are intuitive, they see everything, they rely on their senses, and they have used them as tools instead of just, maybe what they're intended for, like to get you there, like how these cards used to get me there. Like, I used to have to whip them out to get in that mode. I can get in that mode now. Now they're just a tool. That's kind of how intuition works. Wow. So, I'm trying to figure out a way. Oh, okay. So, hold on. Because I really don't know what this channel is, and I don't want to talk about it until I have it 100%. But I also need to start getting ready soon. So, we'll just see if, let's say, one more card, and maybe back a deck. This has been a good reading. And it's very much like not a, oh, excuse me, new vision, the 7. I'm mad because this is the one. Oh, wait. So when I was younger, I would look really close into the TV. Like I would literally go, and I did this on purpose. It wasn't like I couldn't see, but I would go really close. And when I looked close enough, I couldn't see the pixels anymore. Like I couldn't see people anymore, or like whatever was on the screen. I just saw red, blue, green. I put purple on here too, but it wasn't purple. It was just red, blue, green. And I remember that being like a science thing, like those colors make up all the colors or something like that. Now, when you're looking at it from that point of view, everything just looks pixelated. It's a bunch of little squares that are different colors, right? And then when you zoom out, you have the full picture. You have a new vision, which is crazy, right? This is the card that was given to me for this moment. I literally wrote down red, blue, green, purple. Come on, somebody. Okay? So, zoomed in, you can't see everything. You're too close. Zoom out, you have a full picture. You have the big picture. You have an allotted amount of time. You have 70 years. You know what I mean? Zoom in, you have one moment. You barely have a moment. You have one, actually, I'm sorry. Yes, you have one moment. Okay? When you look at one moment full of anger and sadness, poverty, lack, that looks like a big moment. That looks like a big tower. That looks like a big deal. When you zoom out, full picture, big picture, that was a small moment. That was a small pixel. That was a smaller deal to the grand scheme of things. Right? So what do you do with all of these small moments? Do you make them matter? Do you make them worth it? Do you make them a collaboration with the universe to do something bigger, to help people, to whatever your passion is, whatever you figure that out, whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever, however you want to look like this, right? Whatever that feeling is to you. Or do you want to move in lack? And once again, neither are wrong. That's what I'm saying. Neither are right. That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? It's just a matter of what do you want to do? Because the decision is yours. Do you want to turn the TV off? And that's not, please don't take that literally. That's not, that sounded crazy. But it's just like, you have a choice to also just stop watching. So, what do you do with that? I've seen people give up. And everybody is there for a different reason. Everybody is in those positions for different reasons. Everybody's in high positions for different reasons. When you zoom in, it was one moment. You know what I mean? When you zoom out, even just a little bit, you don't zoom all the way out so you can see the full picture, but maybe you just zoom out a little bit and you see it was a moment here, it was a moment here, it was a moment here. And those change the trajectory. You know what I mean? When we was here and we could have went this way or this way, we had a lot of moments like that where it was split off, when it was maybe even more than just two directions you could have went. So it's kind of like knowing life is about choices, knowing that you can zoom in and zoom out. Even right now, I'm 28 years old. I've had 28 years of life. That's not short. I'm just really not sure why we keep saying life is short, because it's really not. Especially as a human being, knowing that we only always have maybe max like 100 or so years. That's a lot. That is a long time, especially if that's all you know. You know what I mean? So, and just never knowing that a day is something, knowing that a minute is something, 100 years, 90 years, 80 years, 70 years, 60 years, that's a long time. Big picture, that's a long time. That's a few, that's a long time, okay? So, yeah. I just had to get on here and say that because it's been a lot going on, right? And I'm gonna post. I'm gonna start posting more often because life has really been life, and life has really been showing me exactly what I'm saying in this message. Like, what do you want to do? Because your foundations have to be made of steel, like literally. You don't even got to worry about that the tower being built after that. You just need to worry about that foundation. We got you from as long as we know that you're trying to build. You know, you didn't start on shaky ground. You cultivated. You know what I'm saying? You planted the seeds. You did the things. Now we can start to, you know what I'm saying? Co-creation. So that is my message. I miss doing readings. I'll be back for another one. Also, we'll be back with that video of things that I've learned, but I'm also gonna do a story time. So stay tuned.